Your daily Bible verse for June 25th, 2025 is Jeremiah 31:33 in the KJV. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Verse from the Niv. This is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel after that time, declares the Lord. I will put my law in their minds, and I will write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. So shall be versus is, inward parts versus minds. Shall be makes it sound like God will change his mind, whereas for is definitive. God is not changed. He did not change his mind. And he wasn't contemplating changing his mind. He flat out was just saying, this is the covenant I will make with them. So, and he did. So, shall be is not really correct. God already had this contract written. It was not yet to be written. It wasn't signed, but it was written. Now, inward parts, I find that very much more interesting as opposed to just the brain. Like, does that mean people who have spent their whole life only with the KJV, which has not been my existence? We moved around a lot when I was a kid. I got to go to a bunch of different types of churches. That's why I want to read and compare the different versions of the Bible, because that has always existed for me since I was young. I don't have a dogmatic dedication to a particular version of the Bible, because I simply wasn't raised that way. So it's very confusing to me when people get very aggressive. I do understand that the words being wrong in the Bible could be blasphemy, but I'm telling you honestly, in my comparison, the KJV changed more words in the Bible than the Niv when I compare the Niv to, say, like the Catholic Bible, which existed before the KJV ever did, for context. All right? So, it suggests to me that perhaps the people who have only ever studied the KJV could have God's law not in their brain and in their hearts. In their hearts, so in the right place, but it could be floating around in other parts of their body. And that could very well be what's the problem. Having God's word, in your elbow, but not in your brain, won't help you before the words come out your mouth that maybe shouldn't. Right? It's got to be in your heart and in your mind. In here. You got to be thinking about, would God really appreciate that? Do these words make people feel closer to God or further away from God? Do they bring unity? Because Jesus said love. So is this in a spirit of love and covenant? Is it actually going to bring them closer to God? Or are you trying to hurt them and use his words as a weapon just so you can make them feel bad? Because God said all wrath was for him too. So, I don't know you. So maybe the answer to all of that is no. And maybe it's just somebody around you that you know, that you need to think about. Is the Bible not in their brain before they speak? I recommend that, if you want things memorized, they go in the brain and not in just any other part of the body. Because he's not really trying to interact with Jesus doesn't talk about interacting with our stomachs, right? He gets mad when we think about those types of things. He was trying to interact with our hearts and our minds. So don't present him some other part of you and think that that's sufficient. That's not who he's trying to talk to. So, keep that in mind.